Are your kids going back to school virtually and you have no clue what to get them? Have you been going to Target, Walmart, wherever, and keep seeing all this back to school stuff and you're like, I don't even know what to get? Stay tuned on this video and I'll tell you some supplies that you need to get for this upcoming school year. Let's go ahead and jump into this video. Let's go. Hey everyone, and thanks for getting locked in with Key. This is your girl Key, and in today's video we're going to be doing a lifestyle video all about supplies parents will need to get for this upcoming virtual school year. So before we get started, go ahead, make sure you turn that red subscribe button gray, and make sure you turn on that notification bell to get notified when I upload more content like this. Let's go ahead and jump into this video. All right, I know everyone is asking, what is virtual learning going to look like? Because at the end of the school year last year, everyone was all over the place. Nothing seemed to be consistent. However, as a teacher, I do want to let you know this year we are trying to make sure your students are getting the best learning experience possible. So in order to do that, I just want to come on and suggest some supplies that you may need as a parent and forgot to get. All right, so everyone knows the obvious, and if I look down, it's because I have everything listed down here. All right, so let's go back to school supplies. All right, first things first, everyone, I'm not sure how everyone is going to be getting technology. Majority of the schools are going back virtually, so therefore the biggest question is, where's everyone going to get the money to get a Chromebook or laptop or iPad, whatever type of device you are looking to use. So for some counties, I know they are providing Chromebooks and they are providing devices. However, I cannot state what each county is doing. That would be impossible. However, make sure you stay in tune and you check your emails, you check your calls when your school is calling, so you can stay in the know and be in the know, because that's an administrative question and I have no clue when they're passing out anything for my county. I don't know any of that. I just know that technology is going to be available for all students. So now let's jump into my list. So number one, we want to make sure the most important thing for a school supply, and yes, I put this on the school supply list, is personal space or an organized space. You want to have a space or environment that's within your home that the student can actually go to in order to learn. You want that space to be clean. You want it to be, it have all their supplies there, everything readily available for them so they can use it for this upcoming school year. Trust me, students, well, your children like to get out of environments in order to learn. They like to be in an environment where they are they're able to learn and they feel that they're ready to learn. I don't know, it's just like if they're laying in the bed trying to learn, it's just never gonna happen, because your body automatically, when you are laying in the bed, your body automatically gets sleepy. So allowing your teenager to lay in the bed for a Zoom conference with their teacher, I'm just suggesting you may want to tell your teenager, head to the table. You may want to tell your teenager, you need a space where this is specific for that, because it will help your brain. It will help your body be more at ease and your body be awake, if that makes sense. So Make sure you change your environment and provide them with personal space in an organized space. Number 2, of course, pens and pencils. I know a lot of the students will be provided with devices. However, we have to make sure, especially for the lower grades, these students are actually writing also. We want to make sure they are developing their motor skills and they are writing. You want to make sure they keep writing because practice makes perfect, and we want to make sure they increase their skills on writing, so therefore they won't have a problem in the next grade. Okay, so you want to make sure they're increasing their writing skills. Incentives. Please get your kids some incentives. That's going to be the one thing that is going to help like tremendously. Now, I'm just going to say this. Incentives is not always a gift. It's not always something tangible that you can feel. An incentive can be time. Oh, food. It could be anything you want. It could be that bag that your teenage daughter wants. You know, every 10 assignments that you get an A on, you get closer to the bag. The bag. Oh, these new Jordans your son want. Oh, every 10 assignments you get an A on, you get this close to those shoes. It could be time you spend together. I mean, you can take, literally, you can take a child on a to a free restaurant and they think that it's $1,000,000, but you haven't paid anything for them and only had to pay for your meal. So make the incentives fun and make them worth getting and worth fighting for, if that makes sense. So make sure the incentives are worth fighting for. And if you have little ones, just go to the dollar store and rack up with them little dollar store toys. Them kids love that stuff. They just love to be thought of, and the thought of being thought of. They just love it. All right, manipulatives. Manipulatives is stuff that we use in order for the students to be more hands-on. So manipulatives can be index cards. You can write sight words if they're in lower grades. You can write vocabulary words. All types of stuff on index cards. You can, you know, spelling, all types of stuff with index cards. The opportunities are endless. So get like 4 packs of index cards. You might want to get things that they can count with. If you have money around the house, definitely keep the change around the house so they can count, they can recognize money. You can get marbles, you can get bags of like fluffy stuff, just things that they can actually count with hands on, or things that they can use for you know, reading or sounding out words, all that type of stuff. But kids need hands on, and a lot of people don't know this, but like clay is like 50 cents at Walmart. Go to Walmart and get like 2, 3, or 4 things of clay and allow them to create their own manipulatives. That's always fun. Always fun. So get some manipulatives. It don't have to be nothing specific, just manipulatives, things that they can count. And be creative. Be creative. Even if it's just stuff from work. Count these highlighters. Or show me this sentence, you know, number sentence. So yeah. Whiteboard. You can get a whiteboard. A lot of people think whiteboards have to be these big, huge anchor charts, or not anchor charts, but what are they called? Big easels. Yeah, no, you don't have to have an easel. Get a little whiteboard from like the dollar store or Target spot, dollar spot, and get the whiteboard. Get some dry erase markers, and when you get the dry erase markers, that now becomes like a assessment. You can quiz the students. You can ask them, how do you spell something? They have to spell it, show it to you, make it into a game. If you have more than one kid, literally just be bouncing all those questions, you know, to the kids pertaining to what they're going over, trust me, that whiteboard will be your best friend. Even if it's for a teenager, the teenager can, you know, you can always test them on anything and have them write it out. It's just anything fun, they usually get it more when it's fun. That makes sense. All right, so loose leaf paper and notebooks. Now, one thing I do want to state is, for me, it's easier for me to study, especially for like high school students. I feel like it's easier for me to study with one notebook. A lot of times we buy like 5-6 different notebooks. To me, that's just a little confusing and overwhelming. So I suggest buying one notebook and keeping everything in that notebook. So like writing science, and then write all the notes from science, date it, put a line under it. Math, here's all the notes from math, date it, put a line under it. So then that way you can always go back, highlight important things. You can always highlight important dates, and that way you won't be so overwhelmed trying to figure out what is next, what is next. If you have a planner, you can put the assignments on a calendar. However, keeping one notebook and a planner is actually easier than keeping 4 notebooks and a planner. But it's just easier to read the notes for me, because I can just go through one book, literally boom, 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 and read the notes. So it's just easier for me to read the notes that way. It's not as confusing. And you can always put tabs in the notes, notebooks if you want to, but that's just my firm suggestion. And you can get composition notebooks for like 30 something cents. Especially right now, it's not a big deal. Folders are not really a must, but I will pick up some folders, especially if your child is using loose leaf paper. So definitely do some folders. Rulers, you want rulers for straight lines, you want rulers for them to measure with. And don't go overboard. If you have 5 kids, all 5 kids is going to be in there. Trust and believe, all 5 kids are not going to be using the ruler at the same time. So spray that one ruler down with Lysol, move on. And if you want to get like a longer ruler, just get one of each. Or 2, but please don't go overboard and get like 10 rulers. They're not going to be using them at the same time. Trust me. And rulers also counts for like protractor, all that type of stuff. If they're in high school, if they need that, make sure you ask the teacher if they need that, because some things we might be back in school for. So I don't want you to be picking up all this stuff and you don't need it. All right. Another thing is calculators. You may want to get it for the older students, middle school to high school. Elementary pretty much don't really need a calculator unless they really need it, like 4th and 5th. But I say kindergarten through 3rd doesn't really need a calculator. Number 10, construction paper. You want some arts and crafty stuff, some construction paper, some glue, some puff balls, some popsicle sticks. You don't have to stack up on this stuff. Just go to the dollar store, get a little bit as you can, and do whatever you could. Because I don't want you to go out and be getting too much stuff, because majority of stuff will be done online. But the other thing is, I'd rather you be safe than sorry and not have this stuff when your teacher says, oh, this big project is due, and you don't have it. So and last but not least is books. So for my class, I provide a app called Get Epic, which I love Get Epic. Now, the choice is yours when it comes to books. You can go to the library if your local library is still open. You can go on YouTube and you can play stories, which I read like 3 or 4 stories on here. So I'll link those down below. However, books. You want to make sure your child is reading and you also want to make sure they're reading on their level. I like Get Epic. I use Get Epic because I can make sure it's on their level and it reads aloud to the students. So with Get Epic, you can have it read to them, and it has like little adventures or, you know, little quizzes. Sometimes it even has activities. Sometimes it just depends. So ask your teacher and consult with your teacher about what resources she or he has based for you to read. So I want to thank you so much for watching and tuning in and getting locked in with other questions or suggestions for videos. Go ahead and comment them down below. I want to thank you all for tuning in, and as always, stay safe, sane, sanitize, and make sure you subscribe. And all of my videos are done with love, Key.